Do you want to help your child manage his emotions better, but you're not so sure how to get started? Check out this video to see exactly how to do it. Hi everyone, I'm BJ Muir, and I help families just like yours to find practical parenting solutions that bring about lasting change to kids' hearts so that you'll also see lasting change in their behaviors as well. If that sounds like something you're interested in, click that subscribe button right now. As a biblical parenting coach, I interact with families all the time who tell me that their child is just exploding with emotions and doesn't seem to know how to manage them, and they don't know what to do. The last video I shared with you shows you a couple of strategies you can put in place. This downloadable right here will also help you a lot. Helping your child with anger and other big emotions has 6 different tools that you can use with your child. I want to walk you through basically how do you take this downloadable and use it with your family. So we can't just download something, start reading, and start implementing right away. We need to get our kids and whole family on the same page. So we want to have a simple family meeting. Now this shouldn't take a long time, 10-15 minutes probably. You might want to include a snack like cookies or something to make it a little bit more fun. Can you play a quick game of rock, paper, scissors? Sure, absolutely. But at some point during your family meeting, you want to have a discussion about emotions. And you want to talk about how you're learning a lot as a grown-up about emotions and how to help kids with their emotions get better at managing them. And you want to talk to your kid about why that's an important thing, that when you're able to manage your emotions better, you can do more things as a kid, as a grown-up, and a lot more things for Jesus' kingdom because you'll be available to him to be used for his purposes. At that point, you can pick one of the tools in that downloadable. I might start with this emotion scale that you see on the screen right now. And I would print this out, laminate it, and talk to your kid about it. Explain to them how this scale is showing exactly what happens with you when you start feeling frustrated or angry or upset or worried. You start to climb up this scale. That once you cross over that line, that red-green line, your brain is getting into that emotional area of the brain, and it's not in that thinking area anymore. And so it gets more difficult for you to talk about your problem. It gets more difficult for you to control your responses. And so when you start getting up into that area, it makes a lot of sense to try something like take a break, like getting a glass of water, like going for a quick walk in the backyard, or something that's acceptable in your family that you know is going to help your kid calm down. But once you cross that threshold, that red-green line, really we're going to go from solving the problem to calming down and then solving the problem. But you want to introduce this to your kids. You want to give them some stories. Maybe it's a story about when you were a child and you struggled with your emotions. Maybe it's a Bible story about somebody who got really heated and angry and how they weren't able to solve their problem until they were able to calm down finally. Think about King Saul and how he just flies off the handle all the time when he sees David and knows what's going to happen in his future as well. You know, Saul is not below the line using his rational thinking skills at that point. So find a biblical story to share with your kid, share a story about your own childhood, and talk about how managing emotions really helps you get to a point where you can talk about things. That's how you basically introduce this to your children. And then you need to practice. So we're going to hang this up and we're going to practice calming down. We're going to practice getting a drink of water or going for a walk in the backyard or whatever the thing is you do to practice to help your child calm down. That's the type of thing you want to practice. Maybe it's pizza breath or magic mustache, one of those other calming techniques that I've shown you on this channel as well. But that's how you introduce the emotion scale. The next week, maybe you do a little family meeting to talk about how anger is like your heart's smoke detector. Anger's not bad, it's not good. It's a signal for your heart to know there's something wrong, but you need other tools to help fix it. That when you just stay angry and try fixing a problem, you often cause a bigger problem. When you can calm down, you're able to access some other tools. I have some videos linked down below in the description that show you each of these tools in this printable and how you can talk to your kids about them all. You might want to start implementing the break routine as well. Now, if you implement the break routine, That's going to take a lot of practice with your kids. And you're going to want to tell them, hey, we're going to practice through this routine like 20 times today. I'll let you know it's a practice so that way you don't think you're in trouble for anything. But I want you to practice when I tell you go take a break, how to go sit down, calm down, and come back and say, ready, mom, ready, dad. And just practice that. And when they come back to you, you're going to give them a high five, tell them what a great job they did because we were just practicing at that moment. But you want to practice these things a lot because when we're practicing, we are developing tendencies in our child's heart, in our hearts as well, to go to these strategies as things are happening. So that way, when things get big, when emotions start to flare up, our kids have the tools they need and they have practiced them a lot before the moment happens. So that way when the moment happens, they have a shot at going to those strategies and using them as well. All of those people competing in the Olympics or just professional sports in general, how many hours and hours and hours they put in to practicing their routines and their craft. That's what it takes to be able to execute at that level. And so we want our children to be able to execute routines and strategies that'll help them when things get big and heated and in the moment, when the pressure's on, like it is when you're competing for gold or for the World Series or for the Super Bowl, the pressure's on, will you go back to the things that you practice so well so that you can win when it counts? A family meeting should be fun. It should have some element of connecting with each other through a quick game or a treat as well. But it also should be informative for you and for your kids, so you're all on the same page with the different tools and strategies and directions you're following through on in family life. Something else that you're going to want to be aware of, and that's that a lot of times the things we want to teach our children because they're struggling with are oftentimes the same things we struggle with as adults as well. Kids aren't the only ones who can use the break strategy. Kids aren't the only ones who need to learn calming strategies. Sometimes us grown-ups need those strategies too. A great lesson for our children is when they see us as grown-ups learning those same lessons themselves. When we're not sitting there saying, do as I said, don't do as I do. That doesn't work. That's a cop-out for us because we don't want to take on the difficult work of tackling this struggle. If we're not willing to take on that struggle, why are we expecting our kids to do it? We need to be willing to put ourselves out there in an appropriate way as the parent in this relationship and say, hey, there's times where I get frustrated too and I blow it. I want to stop blowing it so much. I want to take a break at times too and calm myself the right way so I can use my emotions correctly and manage them well. When you do that as a parent and you show them that you are willing to make changes as well, you inspire kids. You empower yourself as their parent. And they start looking at you with admiration because they see you being brave enough to take this difficult challenge on, and they'll take it on too. If you found this video helpful, grab your copy of my free printable in the description down below, or head over to JesusHelpMeParent.com and get your copy right now. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.